Well, hi there. Good morning, SOBs and Glass Cannon Nation. I'm just realizing embarrassingly that my green screen is not, it's early in the morning. I barely got my clothes on. Hi, good morning to SOBs and Glass Cannon Nation. You're watching our Stream of Blood Glass Cannon Network crossover of Blades in the Dark, the incredible game by John Harper. We're calling it Blood and Glass because our two networks are crossing over to play this as so far incredible campaign of Blades in the Dark. Man, don't you love a morning RPG session? I got my coffee here. It's the Esoteric Order of Dagon mug. You got your whole day ahead of you. You finish visiting the fantasy steampunk city of Duskfall, and you got your whole day ahead of you. Yeah. Oh, I mixed it strong. Yeah, I really do love a morning RPG sesh. And I want to thank you guys for joining us for it. I mean, we're doing a score today. Last time we did downtime, which was incredible. Today, our criminal crew is pulling a score. And I can't wait to see what happens. So why don't I start bringing in our players? This first guy, he is a Stream of Blood regular. He is absolutely phantasmic. And this weekend, it's kind of a featuring this guy weekend. Our entire weekend is all about this man who's an incredible actor and improviser. Please welcome Ross Bryant, everybody.
So much pressure. So much pressure.
Don't fuck this up, man.
Yeah. This weekend we'll show whether you can run the Role Players Marathon, the RPG Triple Crown.
So Ross is going to be in this game right now, portraying Pretty Marco Coyle, a member of the Tin Whistles crew.
Yes, the most
later today
crew around.
Maybe the name belies how actually threatening they are.
That's right.
And then later today, you'll be in our Neptune Society Call of Cthulhu game as Mr. Orlando Robichaud.
Yes, indeed.
And then tomorrow, Curtis Krieger. And you I think you did an artist's rendition of what this weekend's going to be like for you.
Yeah, I don't know if Clint has that, but yeah,
I think he does. Yeah, maybe we'll see it in a second. But so, what are you thinking? I mean, I owe Shannon a present? I owe your girlfriend a present, maybe?
Yeah, but perhaps you do. She's when I was like, I basically have to take over a corner of the house most of the weekend so that I can do accents into a webcam. It's like,
yeah. Let me experience my joy, honey. That's what I always yell.
No, she's incredibly supportive of course of all this insanity.
As is Kara Klink, aka Nora Wilkins. Oh, here they are.
Yes. There I am playing waiter to this little band of ne'er-do-wells.
Yes, from right to left, Marco, Orlando, and Curtis. And then there you are. Yeah. I love you rolling your eyes at all of them. Yeah. That's lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, dude, I mean, I can't think of a better person to have with us all weekend. And I know you're just going to continue to crush it as you always do. So, thank you for being here, and let me bring in our next player. One of the Glass Cannon Network, an incredible player, but also just a sincerely enthusiastic and warm dude that I love playing games with. Please welcome Joe O'Brien, everybody.
Thank you, Jared. That's so kind.
I'm very effusive with my compliments. It makes men uncomfortable.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. But it did help me prepare to have my mic, ready to go. Because as soon as you said, effusive and friendly, and you love to play with him, I knew it wasn't Troy. So I was like, all right,
exactly.
I'm on deck. Here we go.
Now, if you'd heard this next guy is a miser with his affection, a dark and broken individual, you'd be like, okay, it's Troy. I got him.
Steely Ice King.
Yes.
Black of heart.
Yeah.
Joe, it's been a little bit since we've seen you. How are things going? What are you excited for today?
Things are great, man. Things have been fantastic. Glass Cannon Network is doing great. We're putting out a lot of fun stuff. We put a lot of our stuff on hold when COVID hit, and now we have plans to bring it all back in November. So we're very excited for our flagship shows to come back, just to get some sense of normalcy back, at least try to anyway. And yeah, then when this got scheduled, I was very excited because I told Troy just the other day when we were working, I was like, the way the downtime ended, like that image it burned into my mind. Like I don't need to go back and watch it to remember us standing on that dock, looking at the boats and being like, we're getting one of those. And
it was like the end of an episode of Prestige TV. I was just like, can't wait for season 2.
And that's what you get when the Glass Cannon and the SOBs cross over. Prestige TV. Well, Joe, I'm so glad you're getting that sense of normalcy back playing role-playing games for a living. Let's bring in our third and final player. Like I said, a cruel, twisted psychology. A monster in human skin. But a pleasure to play role-playing games with. Please welcome Troy Lavallee, everybody.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Good, buddy.
One of the few times I didn't want to be muted.
How's it going,
May
pal?
I meet my accuser, sir?
It's going all right. I'm actually furiously looking at other classes because we realized 5 minutes before we went live that I have no chance of surviving this mission.
I know. Yeah, we about to go live, and you said that your character, Pontiac Zoe, has 6 stress.
6 stress. I didn't realize that at 9 I'm out of the mission. I thought you suffer a trauma and you have to live through it. No, you're out. You're retired from the mission.
And remember, the Tin Whistles play on hard mode. I mean, that was my idea the first time we played because I thought it might be a one-shot, and then this kind of turned into a campaign. So the first time I was like, you guys have more trauma than a starting character. You guys have, like, all of this going on, and now it's biting you in the ass, Troy, not me.
Yeah, it's really going to affect my ability to aid my partners, to have flashbacks, to pretty much do anything helpful. So I think we'll have to just role play this out. I'm really stressed out.
Well, I mean, look, I want you to think carefully about it, because if you're going into the score and you're like, this just isn't going to work, we can figure out a way to role play a chance for him to go in a little fresher. We'll think about it. I mean, with all that out of the way, are you guys ready to play?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, great.
Can't wait.
Right, let's get right into Duskfall because we've got 2 hours and God damn, it's a good game. I want to suck in all of the game I can. All right, so a brief recap. Actually, let's start by saying we have a crew of smugglers here, and let's introduce these smugglers. Tell us about Pretty Marco Coyle, Ross Bryant.
All right. Pretty Marco Coyle is a class in this game called a cutter, which are the tough bruiser, intimidating muscle of these crews. He's from an area of this game world called the Dagger Islands, which I think is kind of player carte blanche to find a real world analog. So to me, it's Ireland or the Orkneys or something. So he's Pretty Marco Coyle is was sort of the traveler folk of the Dagger Islands came to Duskfall in houseboats in a little flotilla, a refugee flotilla, and life was rather hard. They're not taken too kindly around here, and so he's fallen in with this crew to make money on the other side of the law, and he's incredibly intimidating, just roped with corded muscle, and
but he's pretty.
It's all topped with a face that's absolutely gorgeous. No one's been able to land a punch on him yet.
There he is. I just want to.
I can see what you mean.
Yeah.
I just want to mention that this is the second. We played a home game where Ross played the most handsome character he possibly could, and I think your character in our Dungeons and Dragons game was quite handsome as well. So, Ross, I think you have a type.
There's the type developing. I need to play a real broken Quasimodo next.
Joe O'Brien, tell us about the spider, Archibald Gray.
The spider, Archibald Gray. He is his nickname that he goes by at least once to, I guess, at some point is the jockey. He formerly was a jockey, and he grew a little too large for the sport at like, what did I say, 5'6", 130 pounds or something. So he's very small, very slight frame. He walks with a limp from an injury he received for racing horses. Red hair, pale skin. He is Skovlin, which is also sort of an outsider to this Akavosi-dominated city. I think the analog for me is sort of like Nordic people, Viking-esque people, and they are a lower class here. They are immigrants and they are mistreated largely. So he just he spends a lot of time at the track, not only fulfilling his vice of gambling, but also trying to make connections both in the underworld and the high society to try to get information, get jobs, and be more calculating about how he can make his rise to the top of the horse racing world.
I'm so plugged into his storyline. It was so tragic last time when he went and tried to mix with those horse owners, and he couldn't do it.
That artwork
that
Clint put up was like of those three dudes with like the suits and just looking down at him, and you were like one of them turns and is like, oh, you do have a different perspective from down there. And I was just like,
yeah,
we got to make that one of our mission. Just
they're not even that funny. They're just mean. There they are. You'll show them
one day.
So let's finally go to Troy Lavallee. Troy, tell us about the slide Pontiac Zoo.
Pontiac Zoo, murmur to his friends, murmur to his enemies. He's a weird dude. He's from this area known as Tykeros, which has no analog. It's like a world of or a land of demon influence, and so everybody from there has some sort of odd demon-esque characteristic. For him, he has no pupils, amongst some other dark characteristics. And he was like sold as a child, and then he grew up in this underworld, became like a sex worker as he got older. And I think he was like this delicacy because he was a little weird and a little different. And then that led into a life of crime and straight to the tin whistles, of course.
And here we are in the city of Duskfall, which our players have already indicated is not exactly a social justice hub. It is a dark industrial city in a empire where a long time ago there was a cataclysm that blotted out the sun. Most of the world is filled with roving spirits of the dead because the gates to the lands of the dead were thrown open during the cataclysm, and yet life survives in the harsh, dirty, grimy streets of Duskfall. And here's a brief recap of where the guys have been before. In your first job, you smuggled a huge cargo of electroplasm back into Duskfall from the Deathlands outside the city. When you returned, your crew of scavengers indulged their vices. Pontiac visited his old stomping ground, the old brothel around where he used to work. Unfortunately, he didn't relieve that much stress when he did that, which is why you're still sitting at 6 stress. Some of the crew chased their dreams. As we mentioned, Archibald tried to make inroads at the track to eventually become an owner and was rebuffed by the higher society types there, and they pursued their vendettas. Marco Coyle, you found out where the Oxbacks headquarter, a group of stevedores that screwed over you and your immigrant friends when you first arrived in Duskfall. But all of that is happening in the background. It's all in the background now because Marco learned that a rival smuggling crew that operates out of Duskfall's docks, the Foghorns, was talking you guys down. They were saying your merchandise is garbage and that the Foghorns are the best and only game in town. So at the end of the last session, at the end of your downtime, you decided to give them a black eye, and while you're at it, you're going to take their boat from them. So that's today's score. That's today's job. Before we get into the score mechanics, I think it's always a good idea to ask each player, what does your character want to do today? And it doesn't have to be related to the score. Do you have a goal? Is there something in mind going into this job? Marco Coyle, what does your character want to do today?
Well, I think in the first episode, so to speak, we were out there in the in the ghost wasteland. So that the only time that Marco Coyle was able to actually kind of square up to something, it was an ectoplasmic force that his fist could pass through. So I think there may be a little insecurity building where like Marco would love to pull his weight, and look, there's some actual human heads to bash this time.
Always a great answer when you ask a player what they would want to do. Fight people and hurt them. I mean, come on, that's role-playing games. A lot of them. That's what they're all about.
He's a vicious man.
He is. Okay, and so Archibald Gray, what do you think Archibald wants to do during this session?
I think he sees it as one small step in a really grand plan. And so he doesn't want any foul ups, and he sees that Murmur is a little on edge, and he's a little concerned about it. And so what he plans to do today, whether it's the score or he basically wants to either bag the score early if it's not going to work out, to make sure that we don't mess it up too much for our futures. And if we do continue forward with it, he's going to be keeping a close eye on Murmur and like assisting him where necessary, and because he's not stressed at all. So like he got all of his stress out at the track and was feeling much, much better. So he's feeling very clear-minded. Yeah. And he imagines himself being a true spider here, and making sure he can help his allies in a calculating way to make sure that nobody snaps and we lose our chance.
That makes a lot of sense. So I'm hearing you kind of want to pull off a perfect job, no mistakes. And in order to do that, you are keeping a close eye on and supporting your crewmate Murmur.
Yes.
That makes sense. And it is a spider's perspective, right? Mm-hmm. Everything has to be just so. The timing has to be right, and there can't be any loose ends. Speaking of that, let's talk to the loose end, Murmur.
The walking, talking loose end.
Man, he's already traumatized. He's haunted and unstable, and then is sitting at 6 stress. So he's in rough shape. He basically wants to make sure that his mistakes don't cost them the mission, and so he wants to lean on what he can do best, which is sway, use his finesse, and be slick, because that's all he has at his disposal right now. He thinks if he takes any risk, it has to be like for the win, because any risk could be the end of him.
Okay, great. So he wants to lean on his strengths, right? He wants to lean on his strengths and try to eliminate risk. Good. You guys are a crew that is coming at this seriously, and you're going to have to. So the score today is seizing a claim. Okay. You are stealing a medium-sized steamship known as the Foghound from its owners, the smuggling crew known as the Foghounds. They named themselves after their ship, or vice versa. There it is. Yes.
Yes. So much bigger than I thought it was.
Yeah. The Foghound.
It was a skiff.
We need more men.
Now, at present, you only know the names of the Foghounds crew, and you've caught sight of the ship several times plying the North Canal into the city, but you don't know exactly where their hideout is, or any information really other than that. You know who the crew is, and you know that they travel that North Canal into the city a lot. So what we're going to do now is talk about what is on the line and what you have to gain, because I think it's important to say that if you guys are able to steal this ship from these people, you're going to raise your rep by taking a claim. And maybe if Clint our secret GM Clint, can bring up the crew sheet, your crew character sheet, because in Blades in the Dark, one of the coolest thing is that the entire group has a character sheet. Here it is. So we're trying to raise rep. You can see right now you have 2 rep there, right under, right to the left side above that little turf map. You have 2 rep. You're going to raise your rep, and you're going to take the claim. You can see under layer, which is in the center there, fleet is one of the immediate claims you can take. So you will have upgraded your guys in several ways. As your rep goes up, you go up in tier. You get better quality stuff. You get access to more jobs with bigger payouts.
A better doctor.
Yeah, a better doctor, right? 'Cause that doctor last time, he was like a tier 0 doctor that you used. Poor Pontiac, man. Like he tried to relieve stress. It didn't go that well. He tried to get himself healed, and the best guy he could get was Reed, a member of the Lost, who came over from his abandoned rail car and
real sanitary.
Yeah, put a bunch of holistic salves on him. Didn't really use good science to heal him up.
Yeah, I still have electrostatic burn, which causes me the loss of 1 die per roll.
Oh God, I want to see that sheet one more time, Clint. Sorry, because I want to show you something. You're going to also be taking turf, because as you can see, like below layer, that all of that is turf. All those little boxes.
Yeah.
So when you take turf, you fill in the other side of the rep sheet where it says turf. And so once that's all filled in, you guys will go up a tier. That's going to be really good for you. I think that that's going to really help you out. Okay. So you're also going to gain XP for contending. Oh no, these guys, you're tier 1. These guys are also tier 1. So you're not really contending with challenges above your station, but you will gain crew XP for bolstering your reputation. And I just want to just put one thing in your heads as you go forward. Remember to show me during the score how this score reflects the goals, drives, and inner conflicts or essential nature of the crew, because that'll give you crew XP after the job is done. And that is you want all the XP you can get so the crew keeps improving. All right, so in Blades in the Dark, we don't spend the entire time planning the score. That's what the flashback mechanic is for, that we'll see in a minute. Right now, we just choose a plan. So you guys have the names of the crew. You guys know where you've seen their ship, where you've stood on the docks and watched their ship go by several times. You've identified the Foghound. You know what it looks like. You know the canal that it travels. I want to know, what is your plan? Should I talk about all the different types of plans that you could employ?
I mean, I know what they are. I don't know. You can.
Okay, yeah, then you talk about them, Joe. I think I would love to hear. I'm serious. Like, I'd love to. I've been talking a lot. Joe, tell your crew what their options are.
Well, I took a look at this earlier as we started to plan this, and the thing that really jumps out at me is I don't know how we're going to do it. So I think we could talk about all 6 of these almost as options for a job like this. So we can assault the target, which is basically storm the ship, kill everybody on board. We could use deception, which is lure, trick, or manipulate. So fool somebody into something. We could use stealth, sneak on board and then do something. Occult, engage a supernatural power. I would assume we're not going to do that. I don't think we have too much attunement in the party. Social, we could negotiate, bargain, or persuade. So maybe we could exchange something for something and get someone on our side or whatever. And then transport, which is carry the cargo through dangerous territory. I just don't really know how that works. Our last gig, we did transport. And that was obvious. That's what we were doing. Yeah. With this, it's like, to me, once we have control of the ship, it's no longer dangerous territory. I just don't feel that way, right? I mean, wouldn't you guys agree?
Well, I agree.
Bad.
Yeah. So the main thing is getting the ship. So I think we can cross 2 off the list: occult and transport. Right?
Yeah.
Other than that, we could use social stuff, which I guess Murmur's good at. I'm pretty good at, and Marco's pretty good at. Mm-hmm. But how? I don't know. Assault, I don't think we have the manpower for. Right? So want to cross that off? Or
cross maybe stealth. We could do stealth and then
stealth, deception, or social. I think it's one of those.
Those sound like it.
Because if we get into trouble, we know Pretty Marco can handle himself in a fight.
Right.
I'm pretty stealthy, but I'm a mess.
I'm 130 pounds and I have a limp. Like, I don't think I'm going to do very well in a fight.
Oh yes, and stealth wouldn't be good for you either.
This is definitely ambitious, and it's definitely the way the Tin Whistles roll. They take some desperate gambles. Yeah. So I like what we're saying. Deception, stealth, or social. I think all of them are open to you. I think you should think, once you decide just on one of those words, one of those approaches, then we're just going to pick one detail to kind of start us off with the score. So, I mean, decide which one you think is the best approach for you guys.
Can I ask one question?
Sure.
I think in a really important mechanic here that I love is that you're not supposed to go into great detail about the plan at all. Like that's not the objective of this part. But
Yeah.
so I don't want to do that, but just so stop me if I'm doing that. But my question I think is a little bit more world based because I'm just trying to get a handle on the setting. Like, is this obvious? Is this statement true that like that boat is owned by this gang and it's led by someone or some group of people and they don't have any other ships in their fleet and this is their main ship, their capital ship? We would basically be taking down a huge part of their ability to earn income, and they are all like underworld personalities. Like they aren't people that would be operating in normal society, or somebody doesn't own the boat that isn't the gang. You know what I mean? I'm just want to make sure that that's all correct.
All great questions. All stuff that Marco would have found out when he was gathering information for you during the downtime. And I can tell you that the Foghorns, yes, this is their only boat. Yes, you would be taking over a dangerous criminal crew's main method of income and supporting themselves. I can tell you who they are. Their names are Margette Vale. She's the captain and the leader. Her second is a guy named Bear, who has a reputation for violence and fierceness.
Sounds like
and they have a navigator named Goldie, who's known to be quite competent, at her navigation abilities, and a smart cookie. So that's who they are. And yes, you are correct. This is their one ship. This is their crew's entire modus operandi.
All right, then my gut is saying let's cross social off the list because I don't think we're going to have any like contacts that could be swayed into giving this boat to us. You know what I mean? Or even giving us a way into the boat because it's all underworld stuff. I don't know. I'm leaning toward deception right now. That's where I am. I feel like trickery, luring them into a place, manipulating. So I feel like that's probably the way that this mission gets accomplished because we could still use our social skills in deception, Yeah.
I mean, I love it. What do you guys, what do the other crewmates think?
It seems, Marco just loved going swinging, but I understand you're the brains of the outfit. So yeah, I'll just protect you and you do the thinking for both of us. And but it sounds like maybe we heard that they're talking us down, right? That the Foghorns are saying that we're garbage. So this just popped into Marco's head. Maybe the move here is one of us goes to them, says that they're right. That maybe we don't want to be a part of a 2-bit operation no more. We want to join one that's a little bit more highbrow. See, convince them that we're flipping on the tin whistles.
Oh.
And when we join them, stab them in the back from the inside. I'll let you two on.
I like that a lot.
Yes. Yes. And I'll hide in someone's backpack.
Well, guys, I mean, you've picked your detail. I think if that's what you're indeed going with, and it's fine to have more discussion if you like, but that plan gave me made the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. So that would be your method of deception. If you choose deception, the method of deception is pretending to flip to the Foghorns.
Well, could I just change that slightly? Because we are the tin whistles, right? And so it's not part of the organization flipping or defecting. It's more so like we feel like we could just tell them that we would like to be absorbed by them, right? That like they're really the game in town, and we can offer this rail car for getting in and out of the land bridges or whatever. You guys have the boat. Why don't we team up? Yeah. But it's all a lie. So rather than saying we're twisting on them, we say, why don't we partner up and we'll kill our rep and we'll go with you guys. We'll become part of your crew. And then stab him from the inside, like Marco said.
First one we got to take out is Bear.
Yes, Bear's got to go down first, and that's on you, pretty Marco.
Leave him to me.
I'll sweet talk Goldie.
I love it. I love it. I'm sorry, real quick again, who was Goldie?
Goldie's their navigator. Maybe the brains of the crew. And Margette is the leader, the captain, who is known for being cold, quiet, and calculating.
And it might not be a bad idea to have Goldie on our side when it comes up. So there's sweet talking, yes, but we might want to keep her around because a good navigator is hard to come by.
Yeah, maybe we convince Goldie to join our crew.
Right, give her a bigger cut
Let her
of
know
the whole futures of the boat.
The Foghorns are the past, and the tin whistles are the future.
All right, we're getting too planny, but I love this.
No, I think it's great, and I should also let you guys know that they do have a cohort, and a cohort is a small crew of other sailors that work for them.
50, a small crew of 50 sailors.
No. They're
All
only
brave men
tier
and true.
1. They're only tier 1, so they would have 3 or 4 other guys actually.
Oh, cool.
All right.
So they are something to keep in mind as well. And you would have found all of this out in your information gathering. So now that we have a plan, now that we have a plan and a detail, the method of deception, we now need to do our engagement roll. And so for our engagement roll, it's a fortune roll, and it lets me know whether your position at the very beginning of the score is desperate or just risky, or maybe even controlled. Maybe you've controlled the situation and you're going into it and you're sliding past the first obstacle because your plan is going to go off like gangbusters. So is the operation bold or dare? So you start out with 1 die in your pool for the engagement roll. Is the operation particularly bold or daring? I don't think you guys have to convince me of that. I'm convinced. Okay, I'm adding another die for that. I think that this is, if I think about a plan and I go, that's kind of crazy, then that counts. And I think this is crazy. Okay,
It's insane. It's like it's insane.
Plan's detail exposes a vulnerability of the target or hits them where they're weakest. I don't think we know enough about these guys that this necessarily hits them where they're weakest. Friends, contact, provide aid or insight. I don't think so. Target is a lower tier. No. And district modifiers. I am going to, I am going to give you another die for what I'm not exactly sure what district modifiers means off the top of my head, but I think your smugglers, they're smugglers. Right? Mm-hmm. You guys basically do the same kind of operations. That's got to be worth something, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to give you a die for that. And so now you have 3 dice going into this engagement roll, and I want to set the scene, and you can help me do this. But again, as Joe has mentioned, let's not plan too much. Have we set a meet with them? How are we engaging them to ask them, to appeal to them, to absorb the tin whistles into their ranks?
Maybe a meeting aboard the ship in the cabin.
Done. Okay. So,
I'm sorry. Before you roll, I want to throw a few things out there. One is, can any of your friends or contacts provide aid or insight for this operation? And you can just say no. I know you sort of did in passing, but one of my sly friends it's so vague, is an information broker. So what I wonder is there something about Margaret, Vale, or Bear that is like a weakness we could expose, something that we could use to turn, is there information out there that this friend I have might have and knows a perfectly fine answer? I just wanted to get that out there.
Yeah, I'll let you do a little bit of a setup maneuver. I'll let you do a little bit of a setup maneuver with your come on, let's give you a chance here, because you've got one member who's on edge. This could go a lot of ways. So, and I think that Archibald would, he's a spider. He would plan every moment. So give me a consort roll with your information. No, I'm not supposed to call on that. Sorry.
No, that's what
Give me some sort of roll. Oh, you were going to do consort? Great,
Yep.
That works.
Yep.
Give me
It's
a
one of my
roll
best skills, so that's my
and let's
jam.
see how it goes. And if what's the name of your information broker?
It is Salia, Salia.
Salia.
So, yeah,
Okay.
You'll remember Salia because she got us the blueprints for the train.
Right. Okay. So Salia meets you at the end of the line, which is the tavern where you can see the lightning towers outside kind of flashing like giant bug zappers all night.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, the bar just kind of lights up blue inside because the things outside are crackling with enormous amounts of energy. Salia's sitting there, and see how your consort goes.
Okay, here we go. Let's see, 5.
5. So in Blades in the Dark, you roll whatever your pool is. A 1 to 3 means you don't succeed. There's some kind of consequence. A 4 to 5 means you succeed with consequences. So Salia is going to tell you something, but there's going to be a little bit of a drawback. And the drawback, I think, is Salia's like, oh, you're moving against the Foghounds. Well,
that's right.
That's going to cost you.
Oh, man. All right. What are we talking here?
I don't know.
Doing Marco's
make me an offer. Make me an offer.
We'll give you Pontiac.
Right.
He's very sick.
But I think you know better than anyone what they got in their holds, what they're transporting back and forth. We get this job, I'll give you 10% whatever's in the hold.
Now that is a great offer. I know some people who are on their crew. And the story is that they're getting really tired of Bear, Goldie, and Marquette. He takes too many chances. He gets angry too easily. He starts throwing punches when there's no need, and he's bringing a lot of heat down on them. Is that helpful?
That's very helpful. I'm sure it will come in very, very handy. Thank you.
I'm sure 10% of your take will come in handy for me. Can I get another drink over here?
Awesome.
Very good.
I just wanted to do one more thing because I'm trying to give us the most possible advantage, right, in the engagement role. Mm-hmm. I think that I want to put a little weight onto, and this might be just the thing that even makes it possible, that huge score that we just did. That was crazy.
Yes, it was.
And it got their attention because we were pulling in the product they like to transport, and a lot of it, and in a way that they're unable to do, which is from whatever the Broken Lands on the other side of the wall.
Yeah, the Deathlands. Yeah.
Right. So like if we can start making that a regular operation, we're a serious threat to them. So I feel like they'd take a meeting. I don't think it would need that much convincing to get in the room. Now, what happens once we're there could be a complete disaster. But I'm just saying, I think that we have something on our side that they should give us a chance to speak, I think.
Well, I think you've just convinced me that your plan's detail exposes a vulnerability of the target, right? You've argued successfully that they can't bring in smuggling contraband by land, and you can, right? And you went ahead and had a friend or contact provide insight. So, look, I'm gonna let you roll. Let's see. You got the 1 die base. You got the Boulder Daring Operation die. You're exposing a vulnerability. A friend or contact gave you some insight. And I told you because you're both smugglers and it's like a connect, you know each other's business. I gave you another die. Gentlemen, 5 dice are being rolled for the engagement roll. And let me set the scene. You are on the deck of the Foghound. And living up to the Foghound's name, it is a night where the fog is thick as soup. You're inside the little cabin. It's a medium-sized steamship, not a big one. So even though the ship itself looks like of considerable size when you're looking at it from outside, all the spaces in the ship are still submarine-like, and they're all made of metal because in Duskfall they've achieved that electroplasmic technology that allows them to forge their ships out of metal, and so everybody's kind of in this little room with this like little hanging electroplasmic light around this little table. And you're really crammed in there, and you can smell Bear's breath as you're talking. And outside, the fog actually seems to kind of curl in through the little windows on either side of the room. And now we roll for engagement to see if your situation at the top is controlled, risky, or desperate. And I did roll 1 6, but I didn't roll 2. So it's not an incredible situation. But
5 dice. We
but
gave
it is
ourselves the best shot.
but no, look, it's not a critical, but
Yeah,
it
it's
is
still
a
good.
good result because you got
Absolutely.
a 6. So you are in a controlled position, which is good for you.
I'll take control. I'll take control.
Yeah.
Controlled to me, and always let me know if you have anything to add. It means that they're taking you seriously at the top. You know what I mean? They're not taunting you. They're not spitting at you. They're kind of sitting and listening to what you have to say. And so I'm going to place the Foghounds in front of you. Margette Vale is sitting. She's the only one sitting. The rest of them are kind of standing behind her. Let me see Margette, Mr. Clinton Trucks. She's sitting there. There she is.
Wow.
And she says, okay, we're here. We're ready to hear you out. We understand that you want to join the Foghounds. But frankly, and you'll forgive me, Mr. Gray, we have our doubts. Our operations already take on a lot of risk. And what I'm looking at, if I can be permitted to be frank, is a cripple who can't move about a ship. I'm looking at a Taikarosi who seems like his demon blood might be up, messing with his head a little bit. And some Dagger Isle scum that I personally happen to know likes to get in bar brawls, likes to have a little too much of the Black Lotus in his downtime. You seem like a handicap to me. So explain to me why you should be allowed to join our crew.
Can I kick it over to Murmur? Just because I mean, I can do it if you want me to, but he's the sway. You know what I mean? And I just want to involve his skills, which I do not have, which I am not as much of a sway.
So Pontiac's knee is shaking the whole time she's talking. He's very on edge, and he kind of like puts his hand on his knee to calm it down. And he's like, Miss Vale, or can I call you Margaret?
It's Margette.
Oh, sorry, I meet so many people. I'm not good with names. Perhaps you misunderstood what this meeting was all about. You're not just interviewing us, but we're interviewing you. We need to see if this is going to be a good fit for us. So that being said, while I understand you have some hesitancies about us, we've done our homework as well, and we have our hesitancies as well. But maybe if you're able to impress us, we'll consider working with you. Got a lot of product to unload. Be a shame to have to meet with someone else.
Wow. So what you're trying to do is convince them to sort of join forces, and you're doing that by really kind of questioning her, putting her on uneven footing.
Pushing our controlled position. It's like you have the controlled position. Push it, you know? Like make them think, yeah. If you make yourself appear weak and to start the negotiation, it's never going to go anywhere.
It's like, you think you don't need us? Oh, we don't need you.
Right.
I think that's an incredible tactic. It's a good negotiation tactic. Tell me, if you succeed on the role that you're about to make, Murmur, you will be taken on. That's step one in the, like, they will like bring you on and like join forces, so then there's a lot of steps to taking everything they have from them, right?
Throwing them
But
overboard.
right now, you're trying to convince her and you're coming from a position of strength. Tell me what action you're using.
I think it's going to be a sway. I think it's your classic sway, is just making her feel off balance. Like she felt confident, but coming in with our own confidence should make her question who's really in the position of power here.
Okay.
Also, some of the stuff that she used against us, like we know from our information as characters, and as the GM, that she's full of shit. So like she knows that they have more heat than us. She knows she has the same problem in Bear that we have in Pretty Marco. You know what I mean? Like she knows.
Yeah, and by me not spelling it out to her, it leaves it like, how much do they know?
Right,
Do they know
exactly.
that we have their shoes?
Okay. I'm almost tempted to say that what you're doing is more of a command, my friend, because you're not really taking a hey, let's be friends tactic. You're taking more of a like you need us and you're going to do this.
Mhm.
Is there a way that I could help if it turns to command, not knowing what Pontiac's command skill is?
You know what? Yeah, you could if it turned to command. Yeah, you could. Absolutely. You guys could work together but I think that right now I'm going to let Murmur try sway. You're always allowed to try whatever you want to try. So I think I'm going to let you try sway here because you were charming about it. You were businesslike about it. You weren't like, yelling at her.
Yeah, insulting. You didn't insult her.
Yeah, you didn't insult her in any way. So I think that I'm going to allow sway for now, but keep that in mind that Marco can help out with command later. It might be necessary to use command later. All right, so let's have the roll.
All right, so I have 2 points in sway, but am I correct in thinking I can only roll 1 die because of my electrostatic burn?
No, your electrostatic burn was healed down to a tier 1.
That's right, tier 1. Mm-hmm. And tier
great.
1 is not filled up, right?
No. Then
Then you take no penalties at all. You can roll as normal.
beautiful. All right, so I'll roll 2 unless nobody wants to aid this early in the.
Yeah, I don't know what the mechanical correct choice is. I mean, you know what?
What are you gonna be like? He's right.
Aid. I think I'm going to aid because we can't. This step is so
huge.
Important.
It's huge.
To every other step.
So I'm going to say this is a controlled roll for great effect, because I think it's a great for someone to take you on to their crew, that level of trust, like to let you in on their operation. That's great effect if you can succeed about this. So I think that it's a good idea for Archibald to help. Archibald, I want a little role play. How is he helping? What's he adding?
Do I have to do the same skill, or can I use a different skill? I know I'm not rolling, but just in terms of the spirit of the aid, like
this is just to let us know what's happening in the fiction. How is he aiding? What is he doing? And then you can spend your stress and give a die. There, isn't that how it works?
You know what? I'll do. I'll use sway. I'll use a similar thing, and we'll do like a little bit of a good cop, bad cop thing where he goes in with this like. Well, we're interviewing you because we're and I'll come in with a, we know that you, let's see, let me just try to role play it. It's no secret here that you run a tight ship, that you do a good job. And if I'm to work with someone, you're the sort of person I like to work with. Now, I think I've run a good crew so far. We've made quite a big haul to start against some pretty precarious odds. And you would not be alone at the top here, if you know what I mean. And I don't mean it in terms of struggle. I mean it that you've got someone else who's looking out for the greater operation, not just one of these thugs you got running around a boat. You're going to have people joining your crew with their own brains that can make some of these clever thoughts when they're out on the job. You don't have to do everything yourself. So yeah, he's just trying to say she's not taking on more thugs like she thought she was. He's going to portray himself as somebody who's a thinker that could benefit her tactically and with calculation.
You take one stress, you give Pontiac one more die to his roll.
Ooh, baby.
And she says, before you roll, she says, from what I heard, your crew was on its last legs. You were about to get ran out of Coleridge. Let's not joke around. We both know that last job you pulled was a desperate Hail Mary. And now, Pontiac, you guys have made your arguments. Pontiac, it's time to roll.
Ooh. Little added bonus here. I have this power, my special ability called mesmerism. When you sway someone, if I succeed, you cause them to forget that it's happened until they next interact with you. So how that plays out is up to you, obviously.
And you get 3, right? 3 die.
3 dice. Yep. Come on.
Okay.
Yeah, I know how that'll play out.
Uh-oh.
Because last time I pulled this off was like talking to the guy at the train station. Like, these aren't the.
Oh, I have a great idea of how that'll play out. Yeah, let's see how the roll goes. We're rolling 3 dice.
All right, I rolled a 5, 4, and then one more die. Come on.
That's 6.
2.
Okay, a 5.
A success with consequences.
God.
Margette says, she goes, but, and she's looking like she can't break Pontiac's eyes. She can't break them. She's looking straight into them. And she can't stop. And she's like, I do need more people who can think on their feet. I do need people who can talk to the people in power. And I don't know why, but I think you might be my man, Mr. So.
Yes, sometimes words can do more than muscle. And he points at Bear.
And when you point at Bear, that's when you realize what the consequence was. Margette just says, no. Margette just said that she needs people who can think and people who can talk. And you see Goldie and Bear behind her, like, look at each other. Yeah.
Oh.
And then they look back at you, and something's twitching in there under Bear's eye. A vein is twitching under his eye, but you see his loyalty to his captain must be pretty strong because he says nothing. And Margette puts out her hand and she goes, an alliance?
Yes. The Tin Hounds. No.
That'll do.
The Fog Whistles.
No.
She laughs. She's like, the Fog Whistles it is. And then Bear's like, are we sure we want to go with the Fog Whistle? And she's like, she stands and is like, let's talk about the future. And she begins walking around the boat. Now, I think that I need to know from you guys. You have access to their boat, right? And you can look all around it. You can look at their cargo. You can talk to their crew. You can talk to Bear. You can talk to Goldie. You can talk to Margette. I want you guys to take the reins here and tell me what you would do next, and we'll find out what the next obstacle will be. But for now, and also I want you to know that time can pass. You've made a deal. If you need days or something like that, possibly. But we're going to stick to the score rules, meaning I'm not going to allow a lot of planning. You'll still need flashbacks, but time can pass during this particular score. So what's next?
I would say that learning what the jockey's done told me about the reputation of Bear aboard ship, I think I would like to consort with the 3 to 4 other crew members, and just be like, show them that there's a heavy out there who's not like a total jerk. I want to be all smiles and charm.
So you want to get along with Bear and the rest of the crew.
Yeah, the rest of the crew in particular.
So you saw that there was a consequence, that Bear is sort of suspicious of your crew. And so, Marcos, you're taking steps to handle that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that what happens next is on the deck of the Foghound, a small party is taking place, a party to celebrate the alliance of the two crews. The captain, Margette, she calls for everybody's ration of liquor to come out of the hold. And so everybody has broken into different groups, and they're celebrating. They're docked at a wharf. They're not showing you their headquarters yet, but they've docked at a wharf inside the city, and people are playing music. People are drinking. They're playing cards, and in fact, that's where you are, Marco Coyle. You're playing cards with Bear and 3 members of the 4-member crew, hard-bitten sailors covered in tattoos, who, when they are lighting a smoke as they put the other one out, I mean, like, there's a cloud of like stinky vapor rising from the poker game. But of course, it's Duskfall. It's not poker. It's a game called, The Maid Suicide or something like that.
Just a light game.
And they're saying like, I sacrificed the butler, and then they, saying things like that. They are trying to take you for everything you're worth, Marco. And they all like laugh together, but you notice that every time you say something, they all get quiet.
Okay.
And then finally, Bear goes, Dagger Isles, huh?
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's right.
Visited there once.
Did you know?
Yeah. Everybody lived in the mud. The houses, they look like hay bales. Yeah. The family's there, he's telling his crew. They sleep with their livestock. They got pigs in bed with them. I guess if the wife's not in the mood, at least the pig's there. And the crewmates are like laughing like really hard as well. And you can tell that he's about to do something, because he goes, I think you're tapped out, Coyle. Right? You got nothing left to bet. I think it's time to get up and walk away.
Oh, come on now. How about we make it a little more interesting? Never been much for cards myself. More into feats of physical prowess. What do you say we go double or nothing? You and me. Let's have a little arm wrestling match.
Oh my God, amazing.
It's great.
Come on. Sure, you're not scared. I'm just from the Dagger Isles after all. Just come from making a pygmy wife and dancing about with the elves and pixies. Come on, Boyle. Let's have it done.
Sure. You know what? It's not going to mean much embarrassing a little piece of dick spittle like you. And he downs like a shot of liquor. But, yeah, I'll oblige. He pushes the cards off the table, pulls up his sleeve, and talk about corded muscle. The muscles seem to open up on other muscles. And he puts his hands down in front of you. And if you fail, if you lose, this is your chance. This is your chance to prove yourself to Bear. If you fail at this, he's a problem.
Yeah.
If you succeed, you have him in your pocket.
Then
So Marco Coyle,
Wow.
Better
what
make it
is your tactic? What is your action?
Men are such idiots. The mission hinges on this.
good. Lord. Now, yeah, wow. So forgive me for having to like step out into game mechanics real quick.
That's okay.
That is up. The special abilities. Can I use those multiple times per session?
Yeah, they're your special ability. Yeah.
Great. I roll the number of pips next to the action. Take the highest number.
That's right. Mhm.
Great. Okay, cool. Great. And there's a way to add a dice by taking a stress, right?
Pushing yourself.
That's
Yes.
pushing. Yeah.
This seems like a
two stress, I think.
This definitely seems like
Yes,
a push
it is.
scenario.
Thank you, Joe. Yeah, it's too stressed to add a die. You
Right.
think that you're going to do it?
Yeah.
Oh, for this? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Get that stress up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you got to push yourself, literally.
Absolutely.
Literally.
Yeah. Marco Coyle, what action are you going to use? It seems obvious, but remember in Blades in the Dark, you can use any of the actions. Like
Well,
you
I
can,
mean-
in theory, use a tune here and use like the ghost field to help you win this.
That's
what I'd
cool.
like to do, I think, well, I don't have any attunement type stuff. I think instead of using a prowessy physical roll, I want to use the action of command, just to like when like because Marco, is a jovial sort, and when the arm with all the muscles comes out, it's like, wow, a man of wax, this one turned on God's own lathe. Look at him, a paragon of men. I take off my coat, and it's just like roll up sleeve. It's the same sort of like insanely, but it's like covered in like stick and poke, like tattoos of whatever the Daglish, whatever the Dagger Isles version of Celtic is. It's all like fucking like Boondock Saints looking.
Yeah.
And it's I'm because Marco knows that arm wrestling is like 5 parts strength and 5 parts I'm getting in your head.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be like the charming smile the whole time.
Okay, that's incredible. So Marco's tactic is that no matter how much pain he's in, no matter how hard he's having to push, he's not going to let a bead of sweat come out on his head. He's not going to drop that smile, and he's not going to break eye contact. And he is going to defeat Bear in the theater of the mind, right? And we're going to use command to do that, huh?
Mhm.
Let me see. You know what? I'm going to allow it. I think that because this is an almost an angry exchange, almost like this is definitely a conflict, an exchange of conflict. That is a good conflict strategy. And so now your fingers intertwine. You see his muscles once again, shadows like fill in the cracks, like as they expand and contract, and then suddenly he's got your eyes locked, yeah. And one of the crewmates goes, "Ready, gentlemen, now!" And you can roll, Marco Coyle. You've taken 2 stress. What is your pool altogether?
Oh man. Okay, it's my pool altogether is a 1, a 4, and a 6.
Okay, great. So you rolled your 3 dice, you got an extra die, and what do you say? What's the thing that breaks him psychologically?
Great.
What's
The
the
6
thing?
Yeah, so like I think it's the kind of thing where like we're just like at the top. It's like, oh no, bad boy, I spent a lot of time pulling the halyard. This one, and like, and I'm letting him win. It's just or he's taking me down. It's like, oh no, never felt anything like this in a mud huts where I come from. Like, back up the top. Looky there. Must be my lucky day.
And slam back into the table, and the crew around him are like, "What?" Like the cigarettes are like falling out of their mouth, and he's like, "Fuck it all!" And he he takes the whole table and he smashes it and then he tosses it.
Yeah, that's all I was thinking.
He breaks the
I forgot
table.
to mention how I turned my hat backwards. And
He throws the table off the side of the ship and he's like, "You son of a pig fucking whore. That's how you fucking arm wrestle." And he puts you in a big bear hug.
That's my man.
Yeah, you know, you beat him up here, right?
Right. What's the matter game? Chess at the speed of boxing, isn't it?
Yeah. You got me. And you can see that the crew around him are kind of like, they're kind of looking at him like with a little bit of side eye. He's compensating. He's compensating for losing. He's like, "Come on, more liquor. Here you go."
I turned to the crew and I was like, "Oh, this one here almost had me. He did, the prick." And then I just give him a little like.
Well done.
The bear is in your pocket. The bear is in your pocket. You got a 6. You succeeded. So now. What else? What's the next move that makes sure you're in your position to turn the tables? What's the next move? Tell me.
Goldie. You got to go after Goldie, Jackie.
Well, here's what I'm thinking. Before that, all right, I'm thinking this is days, maybe even weeks of like planning and work. It's a long con. And so one of the things that I would like to do over time is be on the boat several times and on runs a few times. And even if they're relatively routine. And I would like to survey their routes to understand where we can make the move, which is going to be, to me, the ambush, really. Now, we don't even have to do a plan where we suddenly ambush and take the ship in one shot. We could do other plans. But I'm saying this is a conversation I'm having during one of those days where it's just us back at our hut. And I'm wondering if I could use survey to find a weak spot, a spot where there's no lights, where nobody can see, where the ship passes through a certain cove at a certain time during a routine route, where I could maybe even use Tinker to mess with the boat and have it seem like a routine. The steamship stops, right, and then we're halted in a secluded place. I don't know. So
no, that all of that is possible. All of that seems like a good chance to take. Do the other crewmates agree to maybe let Archibald sort of learn the operation of the Foghorns?
Or do you want to
look
move
for an
faster,
opportunity?
or do you want to just do social stuff with the with the people?
I think it's important to find out, that what you said, like where's going to be the best place to make this move. Is there a run they do where they don't bring the rest of those sailors with them?
Right.
You know what I mean? And then if we can maybe work Bear, now that we have Bear in our back pocket, let Bear maybe know that like she's told us she wants you out. But we like you. Maybe she needs to be the one that's out. Find a time when they don't bring all their sailors on board or something like that.
Yeah, because I feel like sometimes, like, you're not always making, massively dangerous illegal smuggling runs. Sometimes you're just like going to, fuel up or what, you know what I mean? Like you get a sense of the routines where there might be a time it's not well guarded and there isn't a lot of cargo on the ship or whatever. That they let their guard down, and that's when he would want to strike.
Well, let me give you a little bit. I think I need to fill in the fiction for you just a little bit to give you. Those are great tactics, but I think you need to have the fiction filled in a little bit because I think that it's fair to say you guys have been on the ship for a little while. As Joe was asking, and they're not bringing you in on all of their operations. They're making you get off the boat sometimes. And I think that you've tried to watch Goldie operate the ship, and Goldie's kind of motioned to some of the crew, and they're like, "All right, out." Yeah, there she is. Goldie's she just looks back and kind of makes a gesture, and the crew are like, out of the bridge. So they're not letting you get a good look at the operation of the ship, and or how she's navigating to where she's going. They're making you get off a lot, but I will fill in this for you. They head out from the northern docks routinely, and their ship, the Foghound, cuts through the thick kind of wall of fog, which seems to be kind of even, the electrostatic nature of Duskfall seems to like create weird swirling eddies of strange, haze as the ship cuts through in different colors that are a little unnatural. Green fogs sometimes move over the ship.
Cool.
And they inevitably end up, because you are allowed to like watch some of this. You're not allowed to see what like the operation of the ship is. You're not allowed to figure out how they navigate out to it. So you're not quite sure what direction they're going in when they leave the docks or anything like that. But they come to a rock out in the middle of the sea, and every time they get there are boxes waiting for them. Who is their supplier? Who is leaving these crates out here? Who is handing them the contraband that they then take into the city? All of these things are a mystery, and no one has shared this with you. In the meantime, Margette Vale keeps asking. Well, she asks Pontiac. Actually, let's set a quick scene. Margette is like, "So, you've seen what we have to offer. Do you still doubt us?"
No, I think you're pretty much on the up and up.
So it's time for you to tell me how you're going to fill our pockets. Share and share alike. Right, Mr. Zoe?
Well, yes, that's the definition of teamwork, as it were. I think we have a good relationship. At least
I
you and
do.
I.
Everyone seems to be playing nicely, don't they?
Yes. Let me ask you this, though. Are you happy with everyone?
Yes! My crew is as loyal to me as a brother or a sister. We have our disputes, but they would never betray me.
Well, that's good to know, and far be it from me to discount the importance of loyalty, but at a certain point, loyalty only goes so far. If the Fog Whistles are going to be the best in town, then we need the best. And if you don't mind me being so frank, I feel like you have a little bit of dead weight on the crew.
Who is dead weight, pray tell?
Well, frankly, Goldie.
Goldie?
Yes, she's competent, if competent is the height of what you're looking for. But I feel like we could do better with someone else.
Goldie is the best navigator in Duskfall. Goldie thinks of things I haven't thought of. She's always 2 steps ahead. And if you think you can find that rock out in the middle of the ocean on your own, then I urge you to give it a try.
Fair
You've
enough.
seen the fog out there. You've seen the dark sea out there. It throws a lot of people off their game. Goldie has nerves of steel. So you tell me why she needs to be replaced. Because, and she stands up, I'm starting to think this is about something else.
Well, as you know, we've gotten close. Not only you and I, but my friends and your friends. And I just get the sense that, I agree with you. She is one of the best navigators I've ever seen. But I feel like Goldie wants a little bit more than just being a navigator for the Fog Whistles. And that maybe her eyes have started looking elsewhere. But I don't want to tell tales after
Quit
school.
hinting. Tell me what you're talking about. I don't have time for riddles, Taika Rossi.
Well, I overheard her the other night. Perhaps she was in her cups. Say that she thinks she should be the head of this operation. She's the one that knows how to get to that rock, and without her, you'd be nothing. Again, that's what she said.
Really? Who keeps this crew together? Who? You need a roll. I need a roll. Ari,
I need a roll from.
It's like,
You
I'm
didn't
so
hear it
angry.
from me.
I need a roll.
here's
So angry.
I want a roll. I need it. Okay. Basically, this roll will determine whether you've turned Margette against Goldie.
This is huge.
But if it's a failure or there are consequences, she might turn against you. You've had her under your sway. And by the way, she doesn't even remember some conversations with you, Zoe. Like,
Yeah.
and sometimes Margette just comes to your cabin on the ship and doesn't remember why she's come. There is a strange sort of empathic link between you two. Sometimes you know right before she's about to turn to you and speak, or right before she's about to walk around the corner. All of this has given you sort of a sway over her, but there's a dark side to it. There's a feedback loop. When she starts to get agitated, you feel yourself getting agitated. You know, it's like someone you've lived with a long time, like a wife or a partner. So what I want to know is, how are you twisting what she sees, twisting what she knows? What action are you going to use?
I'm going to use sway again. I feel like that's the way to go, because I'm really trying to manipulate her through words and lies. I was trying to think of a good flashback that I could have had, like where I'm having the same conversation with Goldie on the other side, but I can't see how it would play out here. However,
Well, we could just take the flashback and role play it. And then it might give you an advantage, another die or something on this roll. Joe, yes.
Yeah.
How about this? How about I do a setup action where I do this with Goldie. Like I consort with Goldie and pump her up and create a relationship with her, and then convince her that she should be in charge, basically. I mean, that might cross over into sway. All I want to do is make her sort of like trust me and like me. So I want to consort with her, and I know ways I would do it. So it's a setup. It's also could be a flashback. I could pay for it. Yeah,
because we're already in the scene with Margette. So we're flashing back to you. I know that's not exactly how it usually works, but because you're flashing back, Joe, you can pay the cost of the flashback. We know that Pontiac already has a lot of stress. I'm going to allow you to take this flashback. Here's what happens. You're going to consort with her, and you are trying to set this up as true. The thing that the lie that Pontiac's about to tell, you're trying to make it true. Did you do it? You pay the stress for the flashback, Archibald, and you are on the bridge with Goldie, and you're having drinks. We're going all the way back to that party where Marco, outside you hear as people like cheer because the arm wrestling match just ended, and she kind of looks off and then she looks back at you, Archibald, and she's like kind of drinking slowly and keeping an eye on you. Yeah, her one eye that's visible. And tell me what you're saying to her, and then we'll have you roll.
Okay.
Let me just say one thing. Pontiac looks at you. He's like having a drink, and he just turns to you, Archibald, and it's like,
and he nods, looks back toward Goldie. He's just like, I know I ain't been here long, and I know it's been a short amount of time, but you get a feeling about, well, I come from horse racing myself, and yet they're both rides, aren't they? You ride a horse, you get to know it well, almost like it's a person. I could see the same with a ship. As a navigator, you get to know all the things that you love about it, the things you hate about it, and sometimes the things you love to hate. I don't know. It's earned my respect, and you handle it so well. I think that, she's a beautiful ship, and you guide her very well.
Here's the threat you're seeing in your flashback. She's not saying anything. She's just letting you talk and letting you talk while she's just kind of looking you up and down, letting you talk. And now I want you to make your consort roll, because the thing about Goldie is she is a blank wall. Like she's very good at apparently hiding her emotions, hiding what she thinks of you. And you have to know if you can make her talk. You're trying to make her talk. That is the angle here. So let me have your consort roll.
Before I roll this, can I make a quick pitch? Which is, I think the flashback, you set the amount of stress from 0 to whatever.
Thank you. You had the opportunity. This is definitely within the realm of possibilities, because we know that you already got welcomed onto the ship. So I think it's only one stress.
Right, that's what I was going to suggest. That since it's also a die roll that could fail, it's just one stress instead of two.
Actually, you have to roll as well. You know what? 0 stress. You take the flashback.
Well,
and you're having to roll. It could kind of create a complication for you in theory. So 0 stress.
All right. Come on. I really like the idea of this skill, though. It's just like you're not persuading them. You're just trying to make them your friend you know what I mean? Like trying to make them your friend. Here we go. Fail.
A fail.
Total fail.
Great.
A 1 and a 2.
She gets up.
Shit.
She
had my shot with Goldie and I blew it.
She pulls down this kind of roll top desk kind of apparatus that would only be on a steampunk ship to kind of shut her controls and locks them. She puts down her glass and leaves the bridge.
Oh no.
Well, you know what? She's right. She's very smart. All right. So then it would be back to you. And now this is all a lie if she didn't actually say it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Can I hear a devil's bargain?
Yeah, I think that you need to.
Oh man, hanging by a thread.
The devil's bargain is this, okay? For your devil's bargain, you can have the extra die, but the consequences are that this empathic connection between you and Margot Vale, this strange thing that you're doing by attuning to her, is going to be much stronger. Much stronger. Fail or succeed right now. You're getting your advantage from the devil's bargain. This empathic connection between the two of you is going to get more fraught.
Yeah, that's a good bargain. All right, I'll accept the bargain.
How many dice are you rolling?
So I have 2 sway and 1 for the bargain. Can I push myself as well?
Oh, dude. We've got a long way to go in the mesh.
I don't know. I feel like
this is a big moment,
This
though.
is huge. All right, I'll hold off. I'm gonna do 3 dice. I feel like we got this. I don't want to lose her though, because now we know we don't have Goldie, but we do have Bear. We have some options.
Okay.
Here we go. Come on. 4 and a 1.
Okay.
And
A 4 is a success with consequences.
another 4.
Okay. It's a success with consequences.
Okay.
Here's the consequence. I am starting a clock. Like, look, Murmur, tell me your special ability again. I wanted to just say it out loud, because I want people to know why this is happening.
Mesmerism. So anytime I sway someone, I cause them to forget that it's happened until the next time I interact with them. So if I do this to her and then don't talk to her for a couple days, it's got to leave these weird gaps in her memory.
Zoe, I've started a clock called Margette Goes Mad. Basically, you keep leaving these gaps in her memory. She's feeling all this weird emotion toward you all the time and not quite understanding why, and you're feeling it too. It's a 4 segment clock. It has 1 segment filled in. Good luck swaying her some more, because if you take consequences, you're going to fill in more and more of that clock, and things are going to get very messy.
I'll tell you right now, we're going to end up in bed together. It has to happen. For the sake of the mission.
It's a strange and horrifying possibility.
Weird tension that's happening. There's only one way.
This boat is fraught with tension.
Yes, sexual and otherwise. Okay, so but you did succeed. You succeeded with consequences. So Margette stands up and she's like, "You're right. I should have seen the signs. She wants the captainhood. You know, the way that she just looks at you, judging, always judging, not saying a word. So what do we do about it, huh? What do we do?"
Well, I have an idea if you'd like to hear it.
I want to hear it. Yeah. Zoe, tell me. Talk to me.
You said that without her, we'd never be able to get out to that rock where you do whatever it is you do out there. We have her lead us out there, and we take care of her. No one will be able to find her, and we'll make our way back. Pretty Marco will do the job.
You mean leave her there, right? You don't mean...
No, I mean.
The ship is headed out toward the rock.
We're bad men. Bad people.
All the people to murder. Oh my God.
Never
Goldie,
should have worked
She's the smartest one. She's
capable-
got to go.
most capable person on the boat.
Goldie,
Seriously, we'll be lost at sea.
Goldie starts taking it out into the fog. Looks back, sees members of the Tin Whistles, not the Fog Whistles, the Tin Whistles standing in her bridge, and she, she's so dismissive. She doesn't even say anything to you. She just goes, and then the crew starts moving you guys out. And as you're moving out, Margette looks you in the eyes. So
Okay, has Zoe told me what the mission he's volunteered me for?
Yeah. I was like, we have to kill Goldie.
Say what now?
And I said you'd do it.
Are we gonna?
Sorry,
Listen up, boy.
it all just happened real fast.
She's the only one who knows how to pilot this boat out of this godforsaken atoll. Are you going to be able to get us back?
Oh, I can work on that.
Yeah, I believe Archibald will be able to do it, and if not, we'll pray to the spirits in a tune and hope for the best.
Okay. Soon, out of the haze, the black rock appears, and the ship slowly glides up to it, and Margette, Bear, and Goldie come off of the bridge, and Margette says, "Okay, the cargo is a dangerous one this time, something a little stranger than we normally carry. So let's have someone smart, Goldie, and someone dangerous, Marco. And you two," she points to two other members of the crew, "go and retrieve it." A dinghy goes down over the side.
Oh my God.
A chain ladder is dropped to it, and soon...
I'm just looking at you in the eyes like, hope you know what you're doing.
He's like, I don't.
It's just chain smoking.
Soon, you're being oared through the ink black water. It's thicker than ocean water, out toward the rock. And now you're kind of climbing up the side, and you eventually see the cargo. This time it's not many different crates. It's not canisters of electroplasm or the unrefined botanical ingredients for some drug like Black Lotus. This time it is one huge pine box. Goldie kind of raises an eyebrow, and then she takes a corner and gestures for the other sailors to take corners. And she looks at you and she's like, well,
I suppose here, allow me. And I
All right.
just take the box from her, and
Now everybody is sort of moving down this like steep embankment, like over the rocks with this like huge pine box. The sea is lapping at the rocks below. And she's like, you and Bear seem to be getting along.
Oh yeah. So it seems. Not a problem for you. If I were a reader of people, I'd have to say that maybe you aren't getting along.
She's like, hold on. I gotta help clear a path for us up ahead. And up ahead, there are like some boulders and things in the way that you guys kind of had to climb over before. So she kind of like has, it's like just 1 second. And she sort of moves up and starts kicking them out of the way. And you and the others are holding the box. And that's when she turns around with a gun.
Oh,
She goes,
so good.
Too smart.
I know what you're doing. This crew means too much to me. I know your little friend is in Margette's head. So, one at a time, I'm going to put some lead in all three of you. And she pulls the trigger. What are you going to do, Marco Coyle? You have this big box in your hand.
I slammed.
The two crew members with you are just going.
How are they? Okay. How are we arrayed? Am I in the front?
She's a little down. She's
I
a
was
little
in the
down the
back.
slope. She's okay. You can be in the back, and the two other crew members are between the two of you, sort of holding the corners of the big pine box. And she's a little down the slope ahead of you. Like she went up ahead of you to kind of like push some rocks out of the way and kind of clear a path so you could all carry this thing. And then she came back up the slope with the gun. So that's where she's standing. I want to say immediately to your left.
Clever.
Immediately to your left, because for some reason as a game master, I love heights and drops. Immediately to your left, 40 feet down, the rocks are being beat by the sea that's crashing against them. And out to sea is where the foghound is. Your friends are not near. So what do you do in this moment?
Okay. Well, first of all, I drop my portion of the box and take a knee so that it creates some momentary cover for the shot that she's fired.
Okay. Great. And then how are you handling her threat?
Oh man.
What action are you using to handle this threat?
I immediately grab one of the crew members. I want to grab one of the crew members and hold him in front of me.
Okay. Let's see how this all goes down. It sounds to me like you are using.
This is so tense.
It sounds to me like you're using skirmish.
That sounds right.
Basically moving a guy in front of you as a human shield to block her shot. And look, I mean, if depending on how the roll goes, I think that you could have a great effect, but I think this is a desperate action right now.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you're literally killing someone else, dropping a heavy, it's desperate. Okay.
I'm trying
it's
to
not
ditch it and get the guy in front of me. And
Can I try and help Marco? Because I'm the one that put him in this horrible situation.
You're
This is my pitch. This is my pitch. It's a flashback with me, Margaret, and the other sailor that isn't being held in that, where we're just telling, like, if things go wrong out there,
Nice.
you need to help Marco.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not going to make you roll. Spend the stress. And I think it's one stress because you had to convince this guy also that Goldie is a problem. But you had Margette with you, so that's his captain. So you set this up. You spend your stress. You have a flashback, and he's like, "I won't let you down, Mom." And then cut to he's the other guy holding the coffin. I love it. I fucking love it. All right. I think now it's not a desperate action. Now I think it's risky. Okay. So your consequences, if you get consequences, won't be quite as awful if this goes awry. How many dice do you have in your skirmish pool?
2.
Do you want to do anything else? Do you want a devil's bargain? Do you want to push?
I mean, this seems like the first action of what may be several. So I'm like, but yeah, I'm banking the stress also. So I don't know. Pushing may not be the. I don't know.
Oh God.
Fuck. Yeah. Okay. Damn it. I'll push just to make sure I don't get shot.
Great. You're pushing. You're going to take 2 stress, and you're going to add 1 level to your effect. I already said that it was great. So let me put it this way. If you succeed, you're going to get a critical. Okay. I will allow that.
Okay.
I mean, if you succeed with consequences, not on a 4 or 5, but if you get a 6, I'll allow it to be 2 6s, and this will go very well for you because you're pushing yourself. You should get a good benefit for that. So take your extra die. You're now rolling 3 die. Here we go, everybody.
Come on.
The musket ball blasts from the flintlock. It's floating through the air toward you. The huge pine box is going down. One of the guys is being yanked by Marco into the way. The other guy is reaching for something on his hip. And Marco, give me the roll.
With my 6, I just
Marco, her musket ball smashes into the guy's chest, and we would do a cross section where we see it going through his flesh and stopping in his heart. Blood spills out from his mouth, and he goes limp in your hands. Meanwhile, you suddenly, by the time you've registered all that he's gone limp in your hands, you look up, and Goldie is there holding her chest. And blood is trickling out of her mouth, and she's kind of stumbling, and she goes over the side of the cliff into the sea. And then you look over, and the other crew member has his musket out, and he goes, "I told you I wouldn't let you down."
John Boyo.
Dagger Isles forever, my friend.
Aaron Gobra.
The old homestead.
That needs to be a TV show.
Come on.
I can picture that so clearly, that whole scene.
Let him drop.
The wind on the edge of the cliff and the crashing sea of the rocks below. Come on.
Staring down the cliff at their sinking bodies. Like, never said a harsh word to me till now. Let the waters carry you home. Too smart for your own good.
The dinghy moves low in the water with only 3 people to row, and soon the cargo hold is shut with the weird long pine box inside of it. And Margette looks at Marco and looks at the others, and then Bear walks forward and is like, "Where's Goldie?" And she goes, "Goldie decided to stay on the island permanently." Archibald, take us back to Duskfall.
Just pretend it's a horse.
Aye, Captain. No
Boat
problem
ain't nothing but a horse that floats on the water.
She walks alongside you, Archibald, to the bridge, and she goes, "Zoe told me you had this."
Aye, I'll take care of it. No problems at all. All right, so
Flashback to you at navigation school.
yeah, exactly.
Well, I want to set the scene because if it's cool, I think that you take up that grate that's like over the controls, and you're looking at it, Archibald, and she's customized this rig a lot. There are controls here. You've been on boats before. You've been on boats. There are controls here you've never seen. Dials and levers, and the charts that are kind of hanging nearby, like on the inside of that cover. Like you're kind of looking at them and you're not really familiar, or are you? Archibald, Margette stands beside you and goes, "So promised me he wouldn't lie to me."
No, of course not. I got it. You got nothing to worry about. I just she just customized a lot of these controls here.
I think he promised me
a lot of the. I'm sorry.
He's losing it.
What? Nothing.
You were speaking.
Take us in.
Right. Go ahead and get some rest, Captain. You look a little weary. I'll take care of it.
I'm
When you
staying
wake
right
up, we'll
here.
be there. Oh,
I'm not going anywhere.
fair enough.
This
I'll
is my
talk you
ship.
through my process. First, I will read the dials of each lever because I don't know what they are. Yeah, I guess. First of all, I want to do a flashback for
good idea.
meaning before the operation ever even started. We needed to learn how to navigate a ship.
Sure.
Now, to this rock, of course, that's a different story. I'm just talking about ship navigation. The basics. I think that he should be able to have under control at this point.
I think that's fine. Like I don't think you need to roll or do anything to know how to pilot a ship. The problem is Goldie. This isn't a normal ship. The Foghound is this like souped up steam cutter that she's modified in all kinds of ways, and she has her own weird notation for the navigation. When you open the cover to the controls, you're like, fuck, this is not what I trained for. So I want to know, what are you doing in your flashback to mitigate that, or what are you doing right now to make this go the way you need it to go?
I am going to do I think I'm going to do a desperate action. I can't think of a flashback that works well with the fiction that we've created, with her being extremely secretive, extremely private, me already failing my ability to get any trust from her. And if all of her stuff is customized, I don't know how he could have gotten it elsewhere. Now, I could say, I do a flashback where I break in, to her area and studied all of these documents and all of her charts and everything, because what he does know from his learning is that ship navigation is not about instrumentation. And you can have a certain knowledge of the sea, and yeah, you can get by on that. Ship navigation in the fog to a certain point and getting back to another area is all charts, mathematics, lines and draws. So to me, it's study. It's all study.
I agree.
And I think that, and he is good at that sort of, he's got one rank in study. So I think that he could take he could either do, I'm just asking you out of character as a GM.
Yeah.
What would you, is this more of a flashback thing because I have the study skill, or is it more of a desperate action? Like, we just set off from the rock and I believe I could put it together in enough time before we get lost at sea with my study skill.
Right. So two different possibilities. If you just thought you could wing it because you're that smart and that you can take in for information in that quickly, the threat is Margette. The threat is Margette because she is standing there and clearly she's having a problem, like with all of the manipulation, all the mesmerism that's been practiced on her. And you hear her saying, Goldie could do it. Goldie's not here anymore. She's not here anymore. Right. I mean, exactly. The clock could and does go up, right? If you fail, it maybe goes all the way up. If you get consequences, it definitely goes up. I think 2 more slices. Okay. So the other option is you flash back, and flashing back has a different effect. You can roll your study at that point and learn how to use, her controls, learn how to do this. But if you fail, then the danger is getting back to the city. The danger is how the trip went, how, where the boat goes in the water.
All right, then I'll take the non-flashback. I'll take studying on the, here and risking losing the trust of the captain and having her go crazy and kicking us off this operation, because I feel like we could handle that. We can't handle getting lost at sea.
Don't forget option 3, Ghost Navigator.
yes. Attuning. Yeah.
Tuning to Goldie's spirit and forcing her will to.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, hey, that's, look,
might be cooperative.
Different action that you could use. But right now, Margaret's standing beside you, Archibald, and going, take us in, Mr. Gray.
Yeah. Okay. He's going to do it. I'm going to study and I'm going to push myself, obviously, because he's got to like go through these documents in the dark by a lantern while the ship is moving and like be sure that he's not going to get us lost and that she trusts him.
What's taking so long, Mr. Gray? And now I'm going to set that you will have a standard effect, meaning you will take it in, you will take the ship in, and your position I think is risky. I think it is risky because you aren't a master of this, and the consequences of the captain. Yeah, I think that her clock might even fill up if this goes very poorly. Okay. So here we go.
Here we go.
Study. It is
study. So I've got 1 from study and 2 from pushing myself. So 2 die to try to get a success.
It's so crazy because this mission would be so huge for the Tin Whistles if we pulled this off.
God.
Oh yeah.
But the risk is so great and we're putting ourselves out there, but there was no other way.
Yeah, but you know what, dude? That's us being the nature of our crew, which is ambitious. That's our thing. It's like we push the limit. We could completely fail from this and be done. You know?
On the razor's edge.
Yeah.
Always.
But it's worth it. All right, here we go. Come on. 6!
There it is.
We've been hitting.
There it is. Archibald, this is. I mean, I want you to tell me how his mind is able to look at a bunch of things and tell me how he does this.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, he learned ahead of time before the operation. I think a 0 flashback, just the general, moving about the ocean. He studied and studied because he knew that this was going to come up at some point. If they were going to take control of the ship, they'd have to navigate the ship. Now, her throwing this wild curveball of having all this custom way of doing it means that he had to use really advanced insight, which I think is part of his character. I mean, that's what he has 3 pips in insight. He has a point in study, 2 points in survey, and a point in tinker. So it's just his mind is always looking at all the different angles. And to look at her matrix, he started to see her, the way she locked off, her coldness, her mind, the way her mind worked. He could apply it almost like a what's the word for the thing that like decodes a cipher.
A cipher, yeah.
To like understand her.
He spent time with her. Yeah,
Right.
he spent time with her. We know that because he took a flashback to do it. So, and Ross Bryant just had to step away for a moment, but that's not going to affect what happens now, which is that Archibald handily navigates the ship, the Foghound, across the foggy sea, and soon the lights of Duskfall, the bright flickering electro towers are visible, kind of blinking and flashing through the fog, and soon you are
Archibald
maneuvering.
sees the lights and he's just like, oh, thank God. Like
I hope that's Pascal.
You're maneuvering the ship into one of the canals, and as you are doing it, as you are maneuvering it into the North Canal, it just barely scrapes the side for a moment, and Margette goes, "Easy, Mr. Gray, easy." And now you're moving up the North Canal, and she says, "You're ready."
I told you there was nothing to worry about, Captain. Now, go get yourself some much needed rest, all right?
There's no time to rest. We need to meet our clients.
Well, all right.
And you're going to see where the Foghounds put down anchor. Goldie's gone. We're all in this together now, right, Pontiac?
Oh, yes. Yes, indeed.
Our crews are one. It's time for you to do the thing I hired you for. Talk. Be smart. Because these clients, well, they're challenging. Soon, the ship is moving under bridges. You're in the ship. You're in the city itself. This medium steam ship is really kind of, the sides of the ship are nervously close to the
Right.
edges of the canal. But you
no
keep
shoulder.
moving. Yes. Okay. And you eventually come to here. Let me see. I just want to make sure I get this correct. Where their HQ is. Oh, yes. Okay. So you come to this underground canal dock. There's finally a place where she's like, ease that way, Mr. Gray. And you ease the ship right, and you go under a bridge, but there is no, you don't come out into the open sky again. You go into this underground tunnel, and you're floating along, and soon you're in a very old under part of the city, where there are literally like these old steps that look like they were built centuries ago, maybe even pre-cataclysm, that just kind of end like hanging out over the water, like things have been broken down here, and there's water dripping everywhere and glistening weird gray moss and fungi, and finally she's like, dock her there. You dock the ship, and she's like, let's meet our clients, shall we? Bear, you and the crew bring the score. And so Bear and the crew begin moving like the big pine box up out of the cargo hold, and she climbs down into this place that it looks like it was a dock, but I mean, you're looking at like something out of Pompeii or the old cities of the Aegean. Like there are Doric columns here and old carvings that depict people with fiery brands and things like that. But they've all been chipped away. Frescoes, yeah, mosaics of like strange tentacled gods, but it's all marred. There's grease and there's like kelp and things like hanging off of a lot of it. And you climb these steps, and when you reach a level portion of this area that goes farther back into sort of like several tunnels that look like they're part of maybe Duskfall's sewer system, you see that there are people there waiting for you near a place that is most likely where the Foghounds make their encampment and live when they're not on their ship, where there's a place to make a fire, and there are tents and beds and berths for everybody. You see a group of strangers, one of whom is dressed in beautiful, very expensive finery, rings all over his fingers, a medallion hanging from his neck, and his face is bone white. Captain Vale, we were beginning to worry you weren't going to make it back. Bear and the sailors throw the pine box down in front of him. And she says, Lord Strangford, I think you'll find that the cargo has not been damaged and that everything is in order. And who are these gentlemen? And he starts looking over the tin whistles. I don't remember being introduced to them in our earlier meeting. They're Foghounds. They have my loyalty and my trust. Pontiac knows much of the forces at work here, don't you, dear? I mean, sir.
Oh yes, certainly. I'm in my element.
Does he know much of these forces, Miss Vale? It would appear he knows more about them than you do. Because He smiles really big, and you can see that one of his canines is extraordinarily long. Well, I know something of mesmerism myself, Miss Vale. And I can tell you that your crew has been compromised. This man has you under a mesmeric trance. She says, that's a lie! A lie! Isn't it? The men with Lord Strangford suddenly throw back cloaks, and you can see they have huge sabers on their hips, and he kind of is moving toward the box, and she turns on Pontiac and is like, is he lying? What's he talking about? What's happening? Bear is like, Captain, what do you do?
Oh my
Huh.
Woo! Oh man, I don't even know. We need these guys because we need to do business with them after we
Right.
take over. But I mean, is this it? Is this the turn?
Seems
Uh,
like
This
this
is-
might be.
This
Seems
might
like
be
it might be time for the Foghounds to
Be put down.
disappear into the fog, so to speak.
I have a desperate action idea. I'm ready to go.
Mhm.
I can't wait to hear it.
Archie is going to step forward and say, just talk to the man with the pale skin who stood up and said, your crew is compromised. Just sort of step up and say, well, I think that there might be a misunderstanding here. This Captain Margate is unfortunately going to have to step down. It's time for a new crew to take care of this, and I'll tell you why. Because she put your shipment here in grave danger. She put it in the hands of an untrustworthy woman whom our friend Pretty Marco here had to take care of lest she tried to steal your goods. And it was me that navigated the ship back from that rock. The captain had no idea how to do it herself. I figured it was time for someone to get this deal done in a quick and efficient manner. And that's how I think these jobs should be done from now on. She's got people under her who don't trust her. She's got people she doesn't trust. And as you can see, she's not even of a right mind to run an operation of this size. I think you'll find I'm your man. So that's going to be,
That is going to be a desperate action.
yeah.
But I think that your effect will be great. This is a go for broke.
Mhm.
Like you're trying to turn the client into your client right now. Oh dear, have we lost? I believe we've lost.
I'm here. I just lost my camera.
Okay,
He's gone, Doc.
it's very dark. It's very dark in this room,
It's desperate.
and so I think that is a desperate action. What action are you using?
Well, I'll tell you,
Welcome back.
thank you. I don't have any points in it. And that's why I think it's desperate. I'm going to use command. I'm just going to try to seem like a captain. and
Would
just step
anybody
right up.
like to help? Or would you like to take a devil? I mean, so if you have no
I'm
points in
definitely
it.
devil's bargaining.
Yeah.
Definitely devil's bargaining.
I mean,
Okay.
Can you still help on a devil's bargain roll?
Yeah, I think so. I think you can always aid.
Okay.
Yeah, you can take all of the different advantages. You could, I believe that you could push, have someone assist, and take a devil's bargain if you wanted to, all on a roll. I'm pretty sure. So, but I want to know, what did we decide again when you have when you have no dice? You
Well, you roll 2d6 and you take the lower. But if you do a
Yes.
devil's bargain, you would move up to 1 die.
okay, yeah, and then that would turn it into a 1 die roll. Okay, that makes sense. So the devil's bargain. Oh, what can I give you as a devil's bargain? What can I give you as a devil's bargain? Here's the bargain. If this works, Strangford and his associates are going to aid you right now. But the rest of the crew of the Foghounds, any that escape, will have a vendetta against the Tin Whistles until the day they die.
Sounds about right.
That's fair. That's fair.
Okay. So that
Can we have
turn-
multiple things happening at once?
I don't see why not.
Might as well just go for broke here. So she looked at me and she's like, what? Right. And then I'll just be like, my dear, this was your plan all along. You spoke about it in bed last night. Don't
We
you
did?
remember? Yes.
No. You're lying to me.
No, my dear, you had us murder Goldie, and you told me that I was the captain now.
What action are you using?
I'm going back to the wheelhouse with Sway.
Okay.
And just because if I succeed, it's more mesmerism that's going to throw her off. At this point, that ticking clock might be good to drive her completely mad. And
yeah,
I'll
but
go
to
devil-
me, you know what, dude? You can't fail this. Like success or failure. If you fail and she goes crazy, it's going to help my action. That she looks unstable, that she looks like she can't handle this. You know what I mean? And if you succeed, all the better. Like I think that this is good.
Quick flashback to us having a moment alone the night before, and I'm talking to her about my former life as in the pleasure houses, and I'm like asking her, "It's like, do you mind if I show you something I used to do for my clients?"
Okay.
And he just reaches into a pocket and like blows trance powder into the room to put her into a hypnotic state. And while she's under that hypnotic state, he just muddles her mind with a bunch of different ideas of what did and did not happen.
Great. And
I'm sorry, you must spend 1 stress for that flashback, but now I'm going to rule that if your sway roll succeeds here in the climax, here in the moment we're in right now, you have programmed her to do something that you will then outline for me. Okay.
can I
Marco Coyle,
also spend a flashback
I think that you should.
on the ride back while Archibald was leading us back? I'm down there with the crew. If I can get a moment alone with the surviving 2-3 members of the crew, it's like, and finally just lay it out to them. Like, seems to me, this little operation about falling apart. I notice how Bear don't respect you, and I notice more how you don't respect him. There's going to be a shake-up coming real soon. And when it happens, it'd be good for you to back us. As Archibald has told me many's a time, it's always good for you to put your best money on the winning horse.
You must spend 1 stress for that flashback. And then that flashback, actually, I'm going to make it 0 stress because I'm going to make you roll for that flashback.
Yeah,
what action are you going to use?
Can I, since I'm trying to move into Bear's leadership position, can I negotiate that to be a command?
I think that's a wise use. Yes. And how many dice do you have for that?
2.
All right, gentlemen, shall we roll some dice?
Let's do it.
Oh my gosh.
So much could go wrong.
Okay, so let me just set the scene again. Strangford is like holding onto the box, and he looks up at Gray, who gives his speech about how he had to fix this so that the job would come off at all, or Strangford would never get his cargo. Margette is losing it. She's kind of coming apart at the seams, and Pontiac goes, "Remember what we talked about, Margette. Remember what we talked about." And yes, and Marco looks at the other crew members, and he gives them the signal.
Mhm.
He hopes
Oh my God.
that they follow his lead.
It's season 1 of Game of Thrones.
Let's roll. Let's start with Archibald.
Okay, so I'm going to push myself and take the devil's bargain. So I'll go from 0 to 2 die.
Okay.
On this.
Yes.
Command, of which I have no points in. Here we go.
But you got 2 dice.
Yeah, at some point you're gonna have to take over this thing. So this is the moment. How about a 5 and a 6?
There we go.
go, baby!
yeah.
Right on the command.
Strangford throws open the box, and there is a beautiful bone white woman who looks to be about 18 years old inside the box, just kind of in suspended animation, like completely frozen in time inside the box. And he goes, "She endangered my beloved." He looks at his men and goes, "Kill the Foghounds." And his men pull sabers and start to move toward Margette and Bear. Margette is looking at Pontiac and going, tell me what's happening. What's happening? I have to take control. I'm the captain of the ship." And Pontiac, how does your sway roll go?
You will take control. I only have 2 dice here. I don't think I can get assistance on this. And I don't get anything for the flashback. So here we go. Oh, 1 die went flying out. 3.
No. A 3 is a failure.
Oh no.
Margette's yes.
Nice, Clint.
Margette's clock fills. She screams in anguish as her mind comes apart. And Pontiac, I told you, there's a connection between you and her now. You have empathically imprinted on her, but she has imprinted on you, my friend. And that means that when she screams and her mind comes apart, so does yours.
Oh my God.
You take a level. I think I can do this. A level.
It's always bad when the GM says, "I think I can do this."
It's never good.
I mean, they think it's so bad.
Okay, wait. I want to make sure what level of harm I can give you here. Harm. Oh wait, we got to fill row 1 first. So you you get a level 1 harm called identity disorder.
Cool.
My friend, until that is healed, you sometimes talk like Margette, believe the things that she believed, and feel her there when she's not there.
Man.
I think in this particular moment, she goes mad, but you perhaps are on her side for a little bit longer. Let's see how it goes. We're about to be done, but you are Margette. Margette lives inside your mind, and now we finally go as she screams and falls to her knees, her mind broken. We go to Marco Coyle. Marco, how did your command roll go in your flashback?
I've been very lucky this whole session. 6s flying this way and way. I regret to inform you all that the luck didn't go his way this time.
Oh no.
That's a 2.
Oh God.
So it's like I give him the high sign and
Nope.
And that's when you feel a blade at your back and you hear Bear in your ear go, "Looks like I won this match."
Oh no.
And then you go, and then your friend with the pistol is in front of you, and he goes, "You should have known. I'm loyal to the Dagger Isles, but I'm more loyal to Bear." So now there's an enormous fight.
Tell me.
The nature of Blades in the Dark is that I'm going to roll a couple destiny rolls, a couple die rolls to see how the fight goes. You guys have already made your final place, right?
Yeah.
Now all that's left is for the chips to fall. One of the things I like about Blades in the Dark is, it handles combat a little differently. So we're going to make those rolls right now based on what's happening. And here is what's happening. Marco did not get those guys over to his side. They're attacking him. Lord Strangford's men are attacking them.
Mm-hmm.
And Pontiac is possessed by the woman whom he was trying to corrupt and break. And so in that moment, Pontiac warns he warns her crew. He warns Marget's crew, watch out for Strangford's men. Like he warns them, he gives them the heads up. And so 2 of the 4 crew head towards Strangford's men and start engaging in like a sword battle. And Bear and the other crew member are attacking Marco. Let's see how it all goes. I think that Marco, I have to do this. You're going to take some harm.
Yeah, that sounds fair.
You're going to
Imagine
take
if both
some harm.
crews wiped each other out, and we're the only ones left.
I have to do
That's
this
a
though.
win.
Can I interject one thing? Stress. When is it? If you exceed the pips on your sheet, you're out of the game, or is it if you just if I reach the end? Am I out?
If you reach the end, you are out. And remember, you can always say no to a consequence like harm and take stress instead.
Okay. So here's the deal. I've taken a lot of stress because I've pushed a couple times. I've got 2 remaining pips of stress until I'm full. When I'm full, I'm dead. Right?
You take a trauma and you're out of the job,
but not out of the campaign. So to speak.
No,
exactly. Not out of the campaign.
Then I don't know. For dramatic purposes, I think this is one of those moments where I'm just going to push it all the way and go for it, because I have a special ability called not to be trifled with. If I push myself, I can perform a physical feat of force that verges on superhuman, including specifically engaging a small gang on equal footing in close combat.
Wow, it's perfect.
No need to roll. I do want you to fill up that stress and be taken out. Okay. And that means you're going to take a trauma, my friend. You understand that, right?
I understand.
And we will decide the
Could
trauma.
I
Yes.
do my special ability, which is I can aid an ally with no stress without using any stress? And could I just like whip out a pistol in that moment and shoot one of the guys that's going after him? I know he's not rolling, but like something to lower your chances of success, I guess, the die you're rolling.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that's
So
a great idea.
check off pistol in my loadout. I did bring one. And I'm just going to pull it out from under my coat and fire at the sailor that's going after, that's from the Dagger Isles.
Okay. So now I'm going to roll. Well, first of all, I'm going to give you some harm, Mr. Coyle. I think that you can take down a gang on equal footing, right? So so you are going to take these guys down or get them to retreat. We're going to see what their role says in a moment. But the other thing is that you I'm going to say you took a dagger in the back.
Sounds that way.
So he got it all the way into your back. He had the jump on you, Bear did, and he put it all the way in. And that's now I'm gonna see how the fight goes. All right. I'm gonna give them a die for each crew member. That's 4. I'm gonna give them a die for Bear. That's 5. I'm gonna give them a die for Pontiac warning them. But then I'm gonna take away a die for Lord Strangford's men. Then I'm going to take away a die for Archibald bringing his gun into play. And then I'm going to take away 2 die for Marco going ballistic and actually taking a trauma to pull this off.
Yeah.
That leaves them with 2 die. Now, no matter what, this is the end of tonight's score. But let's see what happened to the Foghounds when the dust settled. They rolled a 3 and a 4. So in a way, they succeeded with consequences. I think that only one of them got away. Bear. He put his knife into Coyle's back. Coyle fought the other guys with a knife in his back, bleeding, bare knuckle, kicking their asses. And then finally, once the last one dropped, Bear, when the last one dropped, you had lost too much blood and you went down.
I think it's in my back and it's like, and I've got those, I've said canonically that I've got those like spiked brass knuckles and it's like gang, 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 going down. And then like maybe at the end, it's like pull it out of the back and it's like, and turn to whoever, turn to Archibald and just like, could be worse. Could have been my face. And like crumples to the Crumples to the ground.
Strangford's men lift the box. There's only 2 of them. They're able to lift a box that took 4 of you to lift earlier. And he turns back and looks at Archibald and goes, I'm sometimes in need of professionals such as yourself. Call upon me at my residence soon, and perhaps we can establish a business relationship. And then they head out into the tunnels. Pontiac, when you finally get control of yourself again and you've quieted the voice of Margette in your head, you realize that the voice of Margette outside your head is the voice you hear screaming. She's still nearby screaming and screaming. And then she grabs you by the collar and goes, I thought you loved us. That's where we're leaving it today.
Oh man, what a score! Oh,
What
my
a score!
God.
It was a success. You have a
With
boat now.
consequences.
You have a boat now.
And we've wiped out another crew.
Yeah, but we have a bear out there, dude.
Oh god.
And you've taken turf. You have access to this weird, kind of underground area that leads out to the canals. That's the turf that you've taken, and you've taken a boat. But it wasn't without some. You took some consequences, and you have some new enemies, and
Trauma.
and you've
some
lost that
stress.
crew. You don't have that crew. They're laying dead on the ground here.
Yeah, we gotta get cohorts now. Downtime is gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
Well, we went 20 minutes over, but man, every moment was worth it. And I
Thank you,
love
Jared. Thank
playing
you.
with these
Great job.
guys.
Yeah. Wow.
Joe O'Brien, Troy Lavallee, Ross Bryant. Thank you guys again so much.
Yeah,
Well,
thank
I
you,
think
Jared.
we're going to be back in a month for more. We'll do this again as soon as possible. We're going to keep our version of Duskfall going. But until then, watch the Glass Cannon Network. Be part of the Naish. These guys do incredible work, incredible play. And we love them for being here. I'm going to hang out for a little bit, but I'm going to say goodbye to my guests. Bye-bye, guys. Thank you again. That was
Bye,
awesome.
thanks
Take
for
it easy,
having us.
guys. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Bye,
all.
Ross.
Bye, guys.
Good luck with all your role
Bye,
playing.
Joe. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you for tuning into part 1 of the Ross Bryant triple feature here on the Stream of Blood. We'll be back at 6 p.m. Pacific tonight with the Neptune Society. Our storyline, the Narcotic Sonata, is reaching its climax as well, and we have to find out what happens to the Pinkerton, played by Kate Welch, and our own Wilma Middlemass, who often ends up going insane. So tune in for that. Tomorrow, Vampire at 6 p.m. Pacific. The Coterie is in some hot water. We're getting kind of a climax on their current mission. This is a big weekend for the Stream of Blood. I want to remind everybody to follow us on our socials, Twitter, Instagram, follow us on Twitch, and we have subscribing is open now on Twitch. So subscribe to our stream if you're not already, and you'll get access to all kinds of cool things. We have some emotes that are available already. We're doing chats with our cast, and with I did a chat about GMing prep just recently on Discord. We've got a lot of fun stuff planned for that. I want to mention that the artwork that you saw that my secret GM Clint was throwing up is by Cedric Peyravernay. I believe that's how his name is pronounced. And we use it legally, but it is, because we're not really profiting on this particular video. But that is artwork that was used for the Dishonored video game. I just want people to get credit where credit is due. And I'm going to hang out for a minute. So if anybody has a question or a comment, let me know and I will talk to them. Anybody got a question or comment? Here, I'll look in the chat. See, here we go. Which SOB chatter's birthday is it? This is more a command than a question, I suppose. Oh, whose birthday is it? I don't know. Is it Clancy's? I don't know what that. I love you all, but I don't know what that means. What does a lasting trauma mean? Well, you mean in the game Blades in the Dark? He's taken a trauma, and when your character's bar or your sheet fills up with all the trauma that you can take, your character retires. So, unfortunately, Marco Coyle has gotten one step closer to retirement tonight. And when we come back for downtime, we'll find out exactly what kind of trauma he took. Yeah. That is what lasting trauma means. I'll just keep talking. If there are any more comments, throw them up there. But I want to say, man, I love playing with the Glass Cannon so much because they are so full of joy when they play role-playing games. And then they also know their shit backwards and forwards. I couldn't run this game without an awesome player like Joe, who kind of knows how the game works. And, and then both Joe and Troy and of course Ross add so much color, and they're really the type of players where you can just go, what happens next? And they tell you, and it's beautiful. Are there mechanics for the Bear Vendetta, or is that GM Fiat? There are kind of mechanics for the Bear Vendetta. You can lose you're supposed to keep track of where you stand with certain factions, right? And I think that no matter what happened after this job, they were going to have even worse negative sway, negative relationship with the Foghounds. Bear's all that is left of the Foghounds, right? But Margette's still alive, but her mind is sort of broken, but who knows how permanent that is. Maybe that'll be dealt with in the downtime. My point is the Foghounds now have the tin whistles at -2 or something like that, which means they might make a move against them later. It means they might try to make life hard for them in some way. So there are mechanics for that. That's one of the amazing things about Blades in the Dark, is that, I don't know, it makes the world around you. It gives mechanics for all of it. All of the faction game is baked into the rules, and that's very cool. Is there a podcast for Stream of Blood? There is a podcast coming very soon. We're putting the finishing touches on it. Initially we're just releasing our vampire series, Vampires of Pittsburgh, but we'll soon have episodes of the Neptune Society, our Call of Cthulhu game, and I think Blood and Glass too, if we can, up and available to listen to while you're driving around your car or whatever. So yes, there is. It's not here yet, but it will be here. I believe our plan is to launch this month in October. Great question. Because there's many hours now, right? Well, Blood and Glass won't take you long. This particular storyline, we only play once a month. And we even had to skip last month because these guys are very busy. They run a network. This is only our third session of that. You can follow this, no problem. For Vampires of Pittsburgh, hop on with us around, I believe it's episode 21 or 22, where we kind of start a new season where the characters are just in charge of an anarch movement. I know also that the Reddit threads and maybe the Discord have threads where, it just tells you everything that's happened. So that you can kind of pick up, wherever you want. It tells you, what's happened already. And the Neptune Society, our Call of Cthulhu 7th edition game, is done in discrete storylines that don't necessarily connect to one another. So as long as the title, for instance, right now we're doing a 3-parter called the Narcotic Sonata. You could start at the Narcotic Sonata Part 1 and you would be able to understand everything. And or you could go all the way back, and our first episode is sort of standalone. Our second episode is sort of standalone. We have some 2-parters there in the middle, but they involve all different characters, and you can follow any of them if you just start at the beginning of that discrete story. All right, that was a very thorough answer. Sorry. How do you not get burnout? You're running. Well, that's a very nice thing to say, Ben. And I don't get burnout because this is all I want to do. I mean, I want to love my wife and my daughter and eat good food and drink too much and then run role-playing games. There's nothing that I get more pleasure from. So it's like one of those things where if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. But it's true. I never get bored running games. Maybe I like to hear the sound of my own voice a lot. Yeah, no burnout. Burnout is not on the horizon. If you're looking for a tip to avoid GM burnout, I have one, which is a technique I'm learning, which is to leave the games very open-ended so you're surprised by what happens in them. Actually, it's 2 tips. And then when the characters succeed, have them tell you how they succeed. So you're not responsible for the whole thing. You know, you're learning what the story is with them. Okay. Anything else? I think that's it. Okay, guys, thank you so much for being here. I have to go have lunch. This has been a blast. We're going to be back at 6 p.m. I hope I see you all there. I love you. Mwah. SOBs forever. Glass Cannon Naish for longer than that. Bye, guys. Good night.